How's it going, guys? I just wanted to go over the difference between bad posture and stretching out your back. There's a really big difference, right? So this is bad posture, right? I'm hunching over my shoulders. They're collapsing on our chest. We're rounding out our back, right? And this happens all the time. Driving, typing, writing, sleeping, a lot of things, right? And we've been raised that it's bad posture, which it is. It's horrible posture, right? But every time we arch our back, people think that's bad. But there's actually a fine line between stretching your back and bad posture, right? So this is, unfortunately, I'm at my home right now, so I'm super limited in how I can show you this back stretch, right? But a good example is this right here, right? So I'm gonna bend my back, arch it, and I'm gonna show you the difference, right? So this is just one way to stretch out your back, right? So you see how I'm grabbing onto something like this, and now I'm pulling my body, right? I'm pulling myself, right? Technically, I'm arching my back, right? Arching, there's bend, maybe my lower back, and then if I'm more up tall, I'm like, look, so now I'm tall. These are different back stretches. So you can focus on standing tall, or you can focus on going really, really low, right? This is one way to stretch out your back. You saw how this is bad posture, but this is a good stretch. This is pulling you. This bad posture is sandwiching on top of each other, right? So everything's living on your insides. So if you're just layering everything on top of each other, it's just gonna mold and mesh together, and that's when stretching and working out feels so good, right? Or miserable. But this is not sandwiching anything. This is stretching our bodies, right? When I have more access to a gym, I'm gonna show you a lot better back stretches and go in a lot more detail about bringing out our back. A really good metaphor that I think is really good for back specifically is dropping food coloring in water, right? So think of the surface of the water as your back. So now, instead of me being on the ground, I'm standing, right? So this is underwater, and that direction is dropping the water, the food coloring into the water, right? As soon as you drop the food coloring into the water and it hits the water, it smacks the water and then it trickles forward and spreads. Think of your lats as the trickling of the water, your back as the surface, and then the weight as really that drop, right? So this is us in neutral position, and then this is us stretched out. So the water, the food coloring hits the surface, and then you stretch out your lats. So now all the food coloring is being spread out. So you can really stretch out your back here. This is a back stretch. I'm really stretching out my back here. And the reason why I like to use the food coloring and the water example is because it hits the back, the water, really hard, and then it spreads. If you don't use a lot of food coloring, right, it's not going to color the food the color that you want it, right? Same thing with your back. If you don't use the weight and practice bringing out your lat, right, it'll never come out, right? And I think working out your back and working out your glutes and your chest are some of the hardest positions in your body to work out because they're so centrally located. So hopefully this video helps for the difference between stretching and bad back posture.